Can you please look at the person sitting next to you? If there is somebody sitting next to you. Or look at somebody. Right? So you gotta look at somebody, right? And say this to them. Point your finger at them, right? And say, I believe in the undercover millionaire in you. Now give yourself a round of applause. Right? Most of you are going to be millionaires in a couple of days. So you can start saying, I believe in the undercover billionaire in you. This is such an exciting time, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm about to make history, whether you like it or not. Right? Whether you like it or not, I'm creating. What's the date today? 21st. I'm sorry, my life is so fast, I don't even remember the last 5 minutes what I did. So, it's the 21st. The 21st of September. Which year? 2016. Mark this date. All right? 26, and then what is the last day of the month? The 30th. 30th of September. Which means it's 4 days, right? You said 26? 21st. Oh, 21st, which means 9 days. So 9 days from now, on the 1st of October, I will have created 1,000 millionaires. I'm only 27.
From us.
Well, it depends. You still have time to be one of those 1,000.
9 days.
Monday.
9
Who's
days.
it?
He said 9 days.
9 days, yes. So, 9 days. So, you got a lot of people over the last 5 months since we started our Bitcoin currency, right? Who were buying coins and recruiting people, asking them to join. They made money from, commission. Some of them didn't even have a cent when they started. But they're sitting on well over 100,000 coins, right? So, a person with 100,000 UMC, right, now will be looking at over 1.4 million in 9 days in their account. The value of those 100,000 UMC. Remember, when they bought the UMC coins, the Bitcoins that we sell, right? They were at 1 rand for 1 coin. 1 rand, repeat after me. 1 rand for 1 coin. Right? 1 rand for 1 coin. But the beautiful thing that's about to happen is because we've sold 50 million rand worth of coins, or 50 million UMC coins in the last 5 months. Can we get a round of applause for that? We have not slept. We have worked day and night. Currently, I think we just crossed, when did we cross 500,000 followers on Facebook?
It was Monday.
Monday. So Monday, we didn't even have a Facebook page. I mean, we had a Facebook page, but we didn't really care about, building a following. But in the last 5 months, because of the UMC, we've went from having I think it was 10,000 followers to 500,000 followers. Around the world. This is not just South Africa. We have over 30,000 investors or members, people who aspire to become millionaires, ranging from a person who only has 500 rand to a person who invests up to 5 million rand. Right? So we've gone around the country, gone around the world, and presented this opportunity to people. But the key was to create 1,000 South African new millionaires. I don't know if you're used to seeing a millionaire being born every day. Is it a normal thing?
No.
Some people will die not ever even meeting a millionaire or knowing that they met a millionaire, let alone become one. And it's not about the bank balance, you understand? It's about the mindset first. So you become wealthy here, and then you become wealthy in your pocket. So to become rich is easy. Hence, I was able to do it. But the hard part is to become wealthy. Because to become wealthy means you need to maintain that lifestyle. You need to maintain that money, right? Warren Buffett, the most successful investor in the world, once said that the easiest way to make money is not to spend money. Or the easiest way to make money is not to lose money. If you just don't spend it, you'll stay where you are, right? But obviously you need to spend money. But then how do you spend money? By investing it in the right places. Remember, when you're in school, somebody told you, listen, you go to school, after going to school, you get a degree, after getting a degree, you go do something, a profession, doctor, lawyer, CA, whatever, right? That is the traditional way you've been taught, to work for money, right? Yeah. But the people who run this world don't work for money. Money works for them.
That's right.
Typical example is the owner of this building in this room. No? No. But you are sitting here and I have to pay to have you to sit here. He is earning money from doing nothing. That's why when you're a young person, or when you were young, they say, oh, if you want to become successful, go into property. Because obviously you don't have to be there every single day to watch that person go in, sleep, live their life and whatever, and charge them rent. No. You just have to say, here's the space, occupy it, do whatever you want, but end of the month, I want my rent. Otherwise, it's bye-bye. Right? So, the idea of Undercover Millionaires started when I wanted to create a platform. Right? Like, see this thing? This is a platform. Right? A platform is a stage, pretty much. You see, like now, I am on a higher level than you. Right? I'm in an elevated position. You are sitting down, I'm standing on a platform. But what does that allow? It allows for everybody to see me. Right? And if everyone can see me, if whatever comes out of my mouth makes sense, I can influence those people to do what I'm saying. Which means, that is why I said to you, look at the person next to you and say, I believe in the Undercover Millionaire in you. Because we give you a platform in our organization to become a millionaire, but a millionaire with substance. Right? Undercover Millionaires is about three things. No matter how much money you have, you need to grow as a person. So personal development, right? You need to constantly grow, read books, socialize, network, watch videos on YouTube, motivation, that kind of thing. And the aim of the game is so that tomorrow you can become a better person. I live by the saying that says, if I can improve by 1% every day. How many days are there in a year? 365 days. So if I improve by 1% every day than I was yesterday, how much percent growth do I have in a year? 365% growth. That is far more better than the 100% that you were taught to have in school.
Yeah.
So they made average to be good enough. That is why most people will settle for less, because they don't know how much they are worth. I told myself, right, when I was a very young person, that I would be one of the most successful people in the world. I took a decision. And I won't be successful because I'm the only one driving the nice car, or I'm the only one living in a big house, or I'm the only one that's able to donate to schools, right? I am successful because I can teach people and empower them with the tools to do the same. So if you make someone else successful, that's my definition of success. Not just you being successful. Because no one man is an island, right? You have to live together in this world. Whether you like it or not, you cannot ignore people. If you want to become successful, you need to be a leader, right? So, number two is no matter how much money you have, whether you're a millionaire or you're not a millionaire, you need business opportunities. Right? New business opportunities. You need ways to constantly make money because expenses every single day constantly go up. Right? So if you're not moving or growing, like I said, by let's say 1% every single day, and the expenses are also growing by 1% a day, you're always going to be on an average mediocre lifestyle. Right? So, number 3 is, no matter how much money you have, rich or poor, you always have to give back. Whether it's donating your time to a church or to an orphanage or to buying school kids, tampons. We're starting a drive now called the Pink Bow Drive. Our logos are like a bow tie. So we're starting something called the Pink Bow Drive. So basically our members are going to donate sanitary pads for teenage girls in high schools. And we're not just going to do it once and for all, because when we started the company, we understood those 3 things. So we partnered with like Women Against Rape, and we've been buying comfort packs for women who've been affected by rape, and it comes with the essential things that they need just after they've been in a traumatic experience. But that is an important part of what we do. So if you want to become a millionaire, focus on those 3 things. If you want to continue to become a millionaire and become a billionaire, focus on those 3 things. Right? So the aim of the game is to say that I've been a millionaire for 10 years now. Hello? That is not normal. I've been a millionaire since the age of 16. I wrote a letter to a guy called Richard Branson. Anybody know Richard Branson? Which company does he run? Virgin. So, how many companies in the Virgin group of companies? Over 300, right? So I took his methodology or way of life, and I said, wow, this is interesting. This guy doesn't just want to build one business, he wants to build many so that, he's got many pillars to stand on, right? So I also came up with the same strategy and said, okay, I'm just going to build one company, so you can say Undercover Millionaires, but you can adapt Undercover Millionaires to anything. So we've got Undercover Millionaires luxury fragrance, we've got Undercover Millionaires luxury chocolate, we've got Undercover Millionaires clothing and merchandise, we've got Undercover Millionaires property investments, we've got Undercover Millionaires financial services, we've got Undercover Millionaires Bitcoin currency, we've got Undercover Millionaires restaurant that's coming soon. But in the next 5 years, I would have created 500 companies under Undercover Millionaires. We've got Undercover Trillionaires now, which is an international recruitment agency. So we basically take the hard job, like let's say for instance an airline like Emirates wants to get new flight attendants. They come to us, we host a seminar where we say, do you want a job at Emirates? Okay, we can put you there. Do you want a job in, let's say Emirates in Canada or in Dubai or in London? We can say, listen, we can find you a job, but you have to go through the process. So we screen the people, we interview them, we basically check their CVs, profiles, and also we can train them. But in exchange for that, Emirates pays us money. And every single time we introduce them with a successful candidate, we get paid a commission, which is 10% of whatever that person will earn the entire year. So imagine having businesses like that, but 500 of them. And guess what? The people running those businesses, can I run all 500 companies alone? I think Virgin at the moment has about 40,000 staff or 30,000 staff worldwide, right? The Virgin group of companies, right? And what we did is we created this currency as a basic foundation for every other thing. So because we're in the 21st century, we are able to basically create a platform for the other 500 companies. But the very same millionaires that we're creating as of October 1st, it's not like, hey, here's $1 million, rand or plus worth of UMC coins, bye-bye, go blow the money. Buy an M4 and smash it into a tree. That's what happens when you go in the lotto, right? Guys, they don't even last 2 weeks. It's because why? They don't have a wealthy mindset. No one is showing them how to spend the money, keep the money, make the money work for them. Right? I spend, people think I have a flashy lifestyle, I spend only 5% of whatever I earn. Compared to my entire net worth. Right? So I could easily buy a Rolls Royce Phantom, cash. But I follow a simple system of wealth management. I was, I think, 17 when I was approached by a Swiss bank, right, in Sandton, Verde Valley Road. There's a company called UBS. It's one of the biggest banks in the world, right? I'll just show you quickly on Wikipedia. It's a Swiss bank, and I used to facilitate supercar days for millionaires at Kyalami Racetrack, right? So UBS is like one of the biggest banks in the world, right? And they come to me, a 17-year-old. We need you to open accounts for us, for millionaires. Okay, how much is one account to open? No, you need to open it with $1 million. Okay, how much are you gonna pay? No, we will only pay you when you bring in 50 million rand, and it will be 0.05% commission. What? That is like an impossible job to do, right? But I took the chance. Because at the time, I knew one day I might need the knowledge that I'm going to learn working for the bank. Ta-da! Here we are today. You see? So, the aim of the game is to say, I just want to show you. UBS has assets under management of about 1.9 trillion, right? 1.9 trillion dollars. That's a lot of money, right? And the reason why I worked there is because I knew one day this stuff is going to actually mean something. But I was only 17. When I was 17, I actually had to wait for my 18th birthday before I could sign the contract and officially be an employee. But prior to that, I worked for Lamborghini Johannesburg. That's how I started to meet millionaires, right? Because when I got the gym from Richard Branson, because I wrote him a letter, I said, I want to help out previously disadvantaged youth. And I appealed in the letter to the millionaire in him when he was 16. I said, I would want to be a millionaire too. And I feel like I know what it takes. And I know when you were 16, no one believed in you. And I'm experiencing the same thing. The guy read the letter, was like, wow. He's sitting in London, he says, I need to go see this guy. If that is not a God-given miracle, because I cannot take the credit for that. You can write a letter today, right, to 1,000 millionaires, and none of them will return, give you a response. Maybe the only response will say, you hear is no, 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 no. But that is the other thing about being successful. You have to get used to rejection. You know, sometimes you look at people who are successful and you aspire, or you're like, wow, you know, he makes it look so easy. But you need to take into consideration the sacrifice it takes to become successful. Right? So a lot of people, we're going to be creating millionaires, but you're going to be hearing a whole bunch of stories of fires that we're going to have to burn out, you know, because they're not used to being successful. But as long as we work as a unit, that's the problem about South Africa. It's not because we don't have money. Guys, there's a lot of money. If I can sell 50 million coins in 5 months, there's a lot of money in South Africa. It's a lack of cooperation that is killing South Africa, right? So back to Richard Branson. I just want to see here. It says something about the size of, yeah, here we go. So Richard Branson owns Virgin, right? It's a conglomerate, right? Been running for 46 years by the founder, Sir Richard Branson. He flew to South Africa to just come and see me and give me 2 million rand of gym equipment and 500,000 cash. That's how powerful that letter was to him. Because I didn't want to become become successful, we said, give me the gym because I need the gym, I need the money. No. I said, I want to help out previously disadvantaged youth because they're suffering from substance abuse, they're suffering from crime, they're suffering from poverty, right? Lack of education. And they don't, basically they're bored. The kids are bored, man. Let's get the kids some equipment. I know you got some old equipment lying around. But he was like, no, that's not good enough. Let's get into data stuff. So I started that gym. A lot of people said, no, it's going to fail. You know, no, he's too young. No. Richard Branson said one thing to me. He said, never stop using my name. Because I am a result, right, of the seed that he planted that day over 10 years ago. Today, I am, because of somebody believing in me, I am able to create 1,000 millionaires. So do you see how powerful it is to believe in somebody? That's why I said, say it to somebody. Because sometimes you've got an idea, you think it's the greatest idea. You're even scared to tell somebody because you know it's going to be negative response automatically. People are just negative, naturally they just want to be negative because every single day people are saying, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. Nothing is impossible without God. Doesn't matter what God you believe in. You can be a Muslim, you can be a Christian, you can be a Jewish person, you can be Rastafarian. As long as you believe in God, it means you believe in something positive. As long as it's positive, I'm for it. It doesn't matter what color, race, creed, background you have, whether you're rich, poor, whatever. As long as you want to go into the right direction, you're my friend. So the aim of the game is to say, Undercover Millionaires is a ministry, a business ministry. Because I realize that there's no place where somebody has a platform to become successful and wealthy. And I am the product of somebody investing in me and believing in me one day. So why can't I, when I'm successful, also do the same thing? Because if you are if you're born from the same tree, right? You need to bear the same fruit, right? So I appreciate the fact that he says never stop using money. Revenue for 2012, which is obviously this is outdated numbers, but because it's a private company, they don't disclose a lot of information. But 15 billion pounds revenue. Number of employees 50,000. You don't get those kind of success stories coming out of South Africa lately. Obviously, we still, a young democracy. We're still coming back. We still got this thing. But if Malcolm X died a legend, Nelson Mandela died a legend, Mother Teresa died a legend, who are the next legends? You need to sit back and ask yourself those questions. Because people just want to be normal. If I can just report to a boss and retire at 60 and die normal, it's fine. But success comes at a price. Right? We are the people who are going to be in the history books. Right? Because when I got the idea to create 1,000 millionaires, I literally saw a vision from God. It showed me school kids sitting in class writing a list of names. And amongst those names were 1,000 people who created history in South Africa. So 10, 25 years from now, you guys are going to be the same people that kids are writing about in school. Not some guy who died in 1800 and is celebrated now in schools because he was a slave master. We need people who are positive, right? We need people who will say, I am willing to stand out. I am willing to be different. I am willing to be unique, right? So, do what God has designed you to do, and that is to be successful. Not just materially, but with substance. Your character needs to show the world through your actions, not what you say. I always say to people, don't listen to what I say, watch what I do. That's why I've been able to become so successful so quickly. It's because I learned one thing, is that, okay, I'm good at having ideas, right? I can create 500 companies, okay, that's okay. But unless I actually put in and execute the work, Those 500 companies will only die in my head. They say the graveyard is the most wealthiest place in the world because it's where people's dreams die with them. Simply because they fail to say, you know what, okay, I want to start a business. Okay, make a list in your head. What do I need to start a business? Okay, I need to go register at Cipro. Okay, I need to have some sort of a product to sell. Find a product, right? I need to have a location to sell this product. Is it online? And we live in the 21st century. It is much easier to start a business today than it has ever been in history. You are more blessed now than anyone who's ever lived in history. But people still go home and sleep at night depressed. You are in charge of your own happiness, your own wealth, your own success. Do something about it. Make a decision in your mind and say, if there are 5 people, right, and 4 of them are poor, broke, not just financially but up here, and I am the friend number 5, good luck, Papa. But if you have 4 friends and 4 of them are millionaires, go find yourself 4 millionaire friends and make a good introspection and say, what are they doing that I am not doing? What is the difference between a successful person and a poor person? Simple example. If you are poor, when you're supposed to make the right decision, you make the wrong decision. And the successful person, when he's supposed to make the right choice, he makes the right choice. But then how do you make the right choice? By learning from somebody who's doing the right things. It's like a saying back in the day when we were kids, they say, monkey see, monkey do. The most influential man in history, right? Jesus Christ, till this day. The man died 2,000 years ago, but we're still talking about him. Right? Only because when he told people, no, I am the Son of God, I am this, they're like, crazy. Blasphemous, this, they didn't believe in him, right? But what made the difference was when he performed the miracles, when he paid the ultimate sacrifice, his actions spoke louder than his words. That's when, bonjour, what did he say? That's when they started to think about what he said, and they started writing it down. But the thing that changed the world with his influence was based on the fact that he did something about what he believed in. You need to believe in yourself more, right, first, than you believe in someone else. Because if you have a poor mindset, how are you going to make somebody else wealthy? You can't. You can't sell what you don't have. That's like, selling water to a fish. You can never do that. Because the fish needs water to survive. It was born in the water. So like, okay, selling ice to an Eskimo. You need to sell value. As long as you can keep adding value to people's lives every single day, you can become successful. A simple, hello, how are you? I'm too blessed to be stressed. You just say that. Someone says, hi, how are you? I'm too blessed. I say that every single day. People never get used to it. People are saying 1,000 times to. They still don't get used to it. Why? Because I understand that if I set the tone and say, I am positive, you will also become positive. But if I'm like, stuff is not good, man. Yo, I got bills to pay. My girlfriend is not loyal. Oh my gosh, I don't know what to do, Like, my mother keeps calling me. Already, you game over crash. But if you say, I'm too blessed to be stressed, I'm highly favored, you're talking about another language. You're talking about another dimension. A lot of people, they see the undercover millionaires. What's the first thing that you catch your eye? Boom, millionaires. No, that's not the important thing. Undercover means under the cover of God's wings shall we mount up like eagles, for we are more than conquerors. Psalms 91. Before you become a millionaire, you put God first. Every single car that I buy, the number plate has to come customized and it has to be about God. True Blessed GP, Grace One GP, Mercy GP. All those things, they are made to show people that even though the car is nice, yes, it's materialistic, yes, it's nice, yes. And even though you see the logo on the car, you see millionaires, yes. First, there's God there. He made it possible. So without any distraction, right, I cannot claim and be full of pride and say, I am successful today because I did it. No. Life is so not, I know people who while speaking on a speech, somebody shoots them. Malcolm X. Some people, while, going about their ordinary life, he just gets an asthma attack and dies. That's just so you don't even guarantee of the next breath. But people live a life and take for granted even the next breath. Let alone what they're capable of doing, their potential. Because Undercover Millionaires is about unleashing the potential that is hidden in you, that God gave you. Your God-given talent. We want to say, no, you must all become doctors. No, God gave you a gift. I remember speaking to somebody yesterday, and then I was thinking, how many people grew up and then they said, no, that's the problem child. No, that's the one who gives us a headache. But it's only because they don't understand the person and their talent and their gift that it becomes a problem. The problem is not with the child, but the problem is with the person, how they perceive the child. Success is about how you perceive things. You must be observant. You must understand how people behave on a daily basis. It's easy to, if you want to become successful in business, just think about a simple thing. You wake up in the morning, right? You eat from one plate, you sleep on one bed, you sleep under one roof. You can only drive one car at a time. That's more than enough information to start a business. Because people do the same things every single day. You just need to time where you can fit into their schedule and help them live an easier and better and more convenient life. That is why we use the internet. There is no other industry in the world that has created more millionaires and billionaires than the internet. Kaboom. 1,000 new millionaires created. Right? Let me show you. Does anybody know Microsoft? Hello?
Okay.
Microsoft. Microsoft, Windows XP, Excel, PowerPoint, they created those things. I just wanted to show you. Let me just show you. Many people don't, simple thing, you must use this website, it's free. It's like Wikipedia. They don't even charge to display adverts on it. Very simple website, right? But the key part of it, go there and say, when the company went public, in other words, when the company became a currency, meaning the value based on supply and demand in buying ownership in that company was open to the public, and then now the company's value, the price, share price, becomes a currency that fluctuates every day, right? When it went public, it created how many millionaires? In 1986. How many millionaires has it created ever since? A lot more than that. You just think, no, XP. Someone said, go get a certification at Boston Media House for Excel and learn how to do data capturing. But you don't think the fact that when somebody started that idea, he said, I want to put a computer on every desktop in the world. He said, you are crazy. You'll never do it. A computer in every home. That's when computers used to be the size of this room. And the only people who could afford to buy computers were very rich people, right? Who could afford to buy a personal computer. But there was limited functionality in the computer. But somebody said, you know what? I want to make the world more open and connected. Hello, Facebook. 19-year-old Mark Zuckerberg sitting in his dorm room in Harvard, right? He hasn't even graduated. He just turned 18. He says, I want to build a website that will connect my friends with my family and everybody else. Simple like that. Nah, you're crazy. The day it goes public, it gets 50,000 people sign up on the first day. Guys already say, he stole my idea. That's human nature. And when you become successful and you work with successful people, you start to see the same patterns happen every single time. People are very predictable. Right? So, it is not unheard of for someone on one day to create more than 1,000 millionaires. I'm only getting started. I want to get to the level where I start creating billionaires. That's my goal. They say if your dreams don't scare you, you're not dreaming big enough. We do nothing but excellence. My team, they know me, right? I will do anything for them as long as they deliver with execution, which is second to none. We operate on a level of greatness. You can't say, no, I believe in God, but you want to be mediocre. God created you. He just said, no, one day I'll create a person, and you've been living ever since. He didn't even have to show himself to you. Right? So you cannot be saying, no, I am a friend with a millionaire, but you don't work like a millionaire works. You don't exercise like a millionaire exercises. You don't eat the way a millionaire eats. You don't save the way a millionaire saves. You don't wake up early in the morning the way a millionaire wakes up. You don't sleep late. You must be the first one in and the last one out. That's how my father told me. My father is chairman of Undercover Millionaires International Group. And he taught me that you must work like a dog. Because why? His father taught him, you must be 10 times better than me. And my father said, you must be 100 times better than me. I'm going to say to my son, you must be 1,000 times better than me. Yeah. You gotta keep evolving. And you can't just build a legacy for this family that you're living in now. You must think about the next generation and the next generation from there. How are we going to become a better country? You start, charity starts at home, then you go out there. You can't just be a blessing out there, but then people in your family are struggling. You see, it's those simple things that you learn through the relationship that you have with our platform. Once you become a member, and we're not just saying, don't be a member now, I just attend seminars. Because some people enjoy that, eh? You know, putting on a nice fragrance, put on a nice suit, look like $1 million, because you don't do what the millionaires do. Because millionaires put the money where the mouth is. When they say they're going to do something, they take their physical money. When I started the coin, I took 12 million rand of my own money. I had no clue whether that thing was going to work or not. I just had faith in God. And I said, bang, 12 million rand, let me hire the best team, hire the best equipment, travel the world, introduce this thing to people. And people don't invest in the business because of the product. They invest in the leader. The person who is the face of brand. Right? People don't go to Virgin Active because Virgin Active is the best gym. No. That comes after. They believe because they believe in the way or the vision or the mindset of Richard Branson. They might have heard him on TV in an interview, on radio, or they might have seen him on a billboard or somewhere. But fact of the matter is, he said something to them that they resonated with, and then he said, no, if he does something, we also can do it. So, unless you have a mentality to take over the world, you're in the wrong place, guys. Hello? We do everything hard-working, never give up, perseverance, consistency, but we do it out of love. Most important thing in life is love, because God is love. And wherever there is unity, there is love. That's what my mother told me. A family that prays together
stays together.
Stays together. which means we've got some good moms. I could even give you my mom for a week. I could take your mom. It will still work out. Because of love. That's the power. It's not limited. So, I want to show you guys basically what's going to happen going forward, right? But I want to briefly describe to you from the beginning what Bitcoin is. Does anybody want to know what Bitcoin is? What's it about? How does it exactly work? And then we'll move on to the currency. And then we'll move on to how far we've come and then basically where we're going from here. Right? So, let's go here. So this is basically our platform. I'm going to show you a sneak peek. You are the first group of people who are going to see version 3 of our coin, which is pretty cool. Oh, it's not this one. Let me just do this. So, does anybody know what's wrong?
The balance.
Huh? The balance. Oh, okay. No, that's just one of the accounts. Right? So, does anybody know what this is? 200 Rand? Note. Right? So you got a 200 Rand note, right? And I'm coming back to this. And you got a 7,000 Rand money clip. I'm going to come back to this. I'm putting this one here. Right? Is this note worth anything? No, it's not worth much. It's a piece of paper, right? It's like, okay, let's talk about business. Let's say you were the mint. Let's say you were the person who makes this. Okay, how much would this cost you to make? That's what my question is. This note, around how much? It'll cost you a couple cents, you know, like it's paper, and then you get the ink, and then you print the ink on it. You know, let's say it's about 50 cents to print this, right? But there is value in this. What is the value of this note? 200 what? Rand. What is a rand? It's a currency. From where? South Africa. Okay. So now, where is the real value of this note? Since you said this thing is worth a couple cents to print, but where is the value? Where is the 200? It's in the bank, right? Which bank? A reserve bank. It says it here, right? They're the mint. They're the guys who create the coin. South African Reserve Bank. So the value is in mining gold out of the ground, right? Right? You buy the machines. Yes, Mr. President Mutsepe. Well done for doing that. He mines in the ground. He digs the gold. Then he does what? He sells the gold to the South African government, South African Reserve Bank. South African Reserve Bank then buys him, gives him treasury bonds in exchange for real gold. And he takes real gold, put it in the safe, then we print what? Money. How do you get the money? The Reserve Bank sells the money to the bank. Right? The bank then does what? Sells the money to you. You want to buy a car, you want to get a student loan, you want to buy a house, get a mortgage. What they're going to do, every time they loan you amount of money, they're going to ask you for what? Interest. Back. So that when you pay us back this 200 Rand, we want it back with another 200 Rand. That's what happens when you buy a car. If you buy it with 100% finance, you literally pay double of the car. And that's how they keep you in that level. Right? Let me tell you a secret. Right? You all going to be millionaires here, right? Yeah. Nobody's staying behind, right? Yeah. Okay, let me talk to you. When you buy a car in the future, the ideal price point that you must say when you want finance, don't buy a car 100% cash. Some cars you buy 100% cash. You know. the ones that you buy for your mom. You don't want your mom one day struggling, and then she's like, shucks, this guy left me with a credit of, let's say, 15,000 rand to pay the next month. There you play it safe, right? You protect your family. You're still young, you got the energy, you can take the risks, right? But you go to the bank and you say, hello, BMW Finance, I would like to buy a car. Okay, you want to buy a car. Which one? Okay, I want to buy, let's say, BMW M4. Okay, how much is it? Okay, 1.5 million rand. Okay, and would you need any finance on this vehicle? That's where they come in. Finance. How much percentage? And then you say, no, I want to pay 50% deposit. How many people own cars here? Right? You bought a car. 99% of people who buy a car want 100% finance. So they want to pay the minimum amount, right? That's what you do. You want to pay the minimum amount, not because you're trying to be spiteful, no. It's because that's what you can afford, right? I mean, let's be honest. Most people can't afford to pay 50% for a car. Let alone 50% on a 1.7 million rand car. So you give them 50%, but most people say, no, I can only afford to pay 10% of the car, or 5%. And they say, no deposit required. No, run away from those guys. You will end up paying 2.5%, double, and another half of the car's value, right? And they say, do you want to pay over 50 months or 72 months? You got to be smart. Don't go all the way, because then you pay more. But fact of the matter, the point I'm trying to make is to say that when you buy the car for 50%, right, you're sharing the risk with the bank. You know how fast they'll approve that finance deal? In less than an hour. You'll get the finance on that car. They'll say, the car's waiting for you, sir. The keys are outside, please pick it up. And the customized license plate is also there. Okay. That's what they do when you basically share the risk with it. Right? But when you want 100% finance, can we have your favorite underwear color? Your favorite vegetable? What's your mother's maiden name? Where do you live? Are you sure you live there? Can we get an electricity bill that is certified by the police service? For 3 weeks. That's why you check everyone who posts a photo when they buy a car gets 10,000 likes. Because people know how difficult it is to get a car. Right? So the aim of the game is to say that if you're in a position to pay as much more, you pay less. But let me tell you the reason why you shouldn't pay 100% on all your cars. It's because a car is a depreciating asset. Right? Remember we spoke about value, right? Does the value of a car stays the same? You know when you pull out the money of a 200 rand note out of the ATM, you get it sometimes it's fresh, like crisp, like it just came from the mint. Does it stay like that? When it's in your wallet? No, it can even actually tear apart like that. So I just tore this 200 rand note, but did it lose its value? It's still 200 rand notes. We can get some duct tape. Somebody want 200 rand? So why does she come money? She wants it, but I told her 200 rand. Stop, guys. Huh? She's gonna tape it. Yeah. Okay, so she can still tape it up and then still go to the shop and say, listen, I bought for 200 bucks. Okay, I get it. So we're on the same page. Yes. It still has the same value because the gold is still sitting in the bank. Right. Now we get to an interesting time, 21st century, 2016. Some guys basically 10 years ago in 2009 created another currency, another form of currency, right? Called a cryptocurrency, right? Its name was called Bitcoin, right? And it was a group of volunteers, geeks, guys who basically know how to use computers in a very smart way and add mathematics in such a way that they can be secure, right? Just like the traditional banking system. But what happens is that they created a cryptocurrency that is not like a fiat currency. We call it a fiat currency because it's backed by gold, right? Traditionally, most things add value by or grow up by gold, right? So if there's a depression, let's say the recession that happened in 2008, subprime mortgage crisis in America, right? The value of the dollar went down. And then automatically you're like, oh, the value of gold goes up. Because why? The dollar is the most powerful currency in the world. When it goes down, it actually literally influences the price of gold. That's how much of an influence it has. But there are other variables that affect the price, right? Like how much business is America doing with China, you know what I mean? And how much business is America doing with South Africa? Right? So, basically, I'm saying to you that this currency that is new, called Undercover Millionaires currency, is a cryptocurrency, right? Just like the one that these guys created called Bitcoin. And when they created, if you bought a Bitcoin 10 years ago, you could buy it for less than 10 South African cents. Okay? So you could buy one Bitcoin for less than 10 South African cents. Right? And the point I'm trying to make is that today it is at a different price. Okay? So remember we said 10 years ago, right? Less than 10 South African cents. Which is the strongest currency that you know? Like traditionally, as a South African, what is it? The pound, right? Normally it was around 20 bucks for 1 pound, right? Let's check today. Pound to rand. Right? So, today it's 1788. That's a good day. Right? If you go to London now, you pay 17 times more than you should. Instead of 20. Is that fair? Let me put it this way. When you were born, right? Madame, when's your birthday?
1st May.
1st of May.
Yes.
Right? So when you're born on the 1st of May, do you know around about what time you're born? I know it's a long shot. Okay, let's take a guess. Let's say you were born at midnight. Bang. The parents are happy, everybody's like, yo, we got a baby girl. Oh, crazy, 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 crazy. Everyone's excited. And then guess what? Charles was also born in London at 12 o'clock, midnight, ding, on the 6th of May. Right? But there's a big difference. Right? Everybody's happy, yes. But Charles is 17 Rand 88 richer than you from the get-go. Boom. Why? Because the currency in their country is stronger than the currency in your country. Is that fair? No. Unfortunately, it's a way of life. You gotta live with it. Right? But I'm gonna show you a secret. I reversed that. That's how I'm creating 1,000 millionaires. I did the same thing they're doing to us, I did it back to them. Right? And I'm doing it 1,000 times better than they did it to you. So they're really gonna feel your pain. Right? So that's the traditional, right? Pound to. And what is the other currency that is strong in the world? Euro. Okay, let's see, euro to rand. 1535, right? And what is the other one? There's a strong one, the other strong. Dollar, right? That is the most popular one in the world, right? Dollar to rand 1391, it was around 14, right? So, meaning, what is the other one? Okay. Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin to rand. Wow, wow, wow. 8,328. Is this a website that's posting this? What is posting this? It's actually Google itself. Right? Yeah, disclosure. Financial data listings and disclaimers. Right? It's a list of stocks and exchanges and data financial available in Google products. Okay, so this is legit information, right? Right? Legit information. And as you can see here, 2009, right about there, it was on 0. Today, it's on 8,328 for one. Ladies and gentlemen, can you imagine if you had an opportunity 10 years ago, 2009, even if you had 1,000 rand, and you bought one Bitcoin for 1 rand, and you had 1,000 Bitcoins. Let's see how much you'd have today. Right? So, what is it? I'm trying to get the calculator this time. Oh, okay.
You're gonna put it.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So we said you bought 1,000, right? You had $1,000 in 2009. You're like, okay, I heard about this thing called Bitcoin. Let me buy 1,000 of those coins because it's 1 rand for 1 coin. Okay. Getting my money worth. Right? So I now, 10 years later, right? 2016, I want to sell my 1,000 coins. Right? I times it by what? 8,000. 3, 2, 8. Okay, forget the cents. I will have how much? 328,000. I'm sorry, I watch Jacob Zuma a lot. He's my favorite president. So I also, unfortunately take the characteristic of reading numbers wrong sometimes. So 8,328,000. Huh? Yeah, that's right. Okay. So 8,328,000 is what you have in your bank account. That's the value of your coins now. Can you imagine if you had that? You missed out. Guys, I'm sorry, you missed out. You can't buy it for 1 now. I'm sorry, you can't. It's too late. If you want to buy a Bitcoin, you start at 8,000. Right? I started buying a lot of Bitcoins when it was still around 4,000 for one. So I wasn't bad. I made up 1,000 money back, like on every Bitcoin I bought. But some guy sitting in South Africa, Santon, decides he wants to start his own cryptocurrency. Because a cryptocurrency is like Wi-Fi. Anybody know Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Right? Who's got a Wi-Fi modem?
Yeah, good.
You got one? You good? You got a modem? You got a modem? Are all your modems the same? Okay. I can even use my phone as a modem, right?
Yeah.
Right? And this is iPhone and S7, right? Do they look the same?
No.
But they can actually talk to each other, right? I could even use this as a modem and connect this as a Wi-Fi hotspot to this, and then I can use this as without having airtime or anything, and I can go online. It's because it's a framework, it's a technology like Bluetooth. Every phone has Bluetooth. Most phones have Bluetooth. Even the ones that you buy for $100 now. We are living in such an advanced environment where you can buy a thing 310 with Bluetooth. In high school, you would have been the man. Your phone has Bluetooth, bro. The whole school's going to talk about it. Joe, do you know that this guy's got a phone with Bluetooth? You can actually send songs from one phone to another phone. Okay? Now, you've got a platform called Bitcoin. So as long as you've got the money, you've got the resources, you've got the staff, you've got the ability to lead people and present to people and sell them and convince them that this thing actually works, and you've got the money to invest in it, you can start your own cryptocurrency. Kaboom! Right? So remember I said to you, where do you get the South African money? From who? South African Reserve Bank. So in a cryptocurrency, you get it from the mint as well. But instead of mining gold in the ground, the mining is a process that's done by computers that work out mathematical equations, like complex math, right, in a very fast period of time. So you can't just come in and hack that information, you know what I mean, as a normal person. It's complicating, it's computating a lot of mathematical equations at the same time in order to give birth to a new coin. And what happens? The mint then sells the coin to you. So who's the mint? I'm the mint. My company is the mint, Undercover Millionaires International, right? So every year we release 2 million coins. Until we're going to get to 21 million coins. But in Bitcoin, each coin can expand. Does anyone know what expanding does? Like the universe expands, the galaxies and all the stars and ching ching. It's always getting bigger, better, faster. Right? But each coin can take up to $100 million. So there's no limit. So if I give you a coin now, it has the potential to become worth 100 million. Hello? Yes. That's good news. You don't have to be so depressed. Nobody died. Okay? So, which means if we have 21 million coins, we can actually say, okay, in the event that we are so good at selling coins, we could actually sell 100 million times 21 million worth of money in the system. And still, you could still tweak it and come up with another version that could add more money. Right? So, aim of the game is to say, I started UMC. Ta-da! And I knew that if I sell one coin for R1 when it starts off, right, that I can sell so much coins, like, when a company goes public, does anybody know public? I read it to you from Microsoft. When you go on the stock exchange, can your starter shop be listed on the stock exchange? No, come on, guys. It should be able to. I'm making about 20,000 rand a week. Stock is not, penning. There's no robberies, gunpoint muggings. I'm selling my kotas and my fish and chips. I should be able to list on the JSE. No, you can't. The important thing is to say, if you had the opportunity to be listed on the JSE, to become a currency for your company to be listed on the JSE, to be an initially publicly trading company. In other words, anybody off the street can say, hey, I want to buy a slice of Pick and Pay. Because I know it makes sense. I go to Pick and Pay every 2-3 days to buy milk and butter and bread, and so does the rest of the country. So it makes sense, if I buy a share of Pick and Pay, even if I die, my kids can even earn a profit from the shares through dividends and whatever. Even if they wanted to sell the shares. Pick and Pay is opening stores every single day. It's constantly growing, right? Which means I can make an investment, so the money can work for me. But we don't come from that background, remember? We come from the background, go to school, get a job, work for the boss. Right? Get 2-3 leave days here and there in a month. Sometimes they say, no, you can't take them. I'm sorry. We know we wrote it in the contract, but nah, we don't feel like giving you leave this time. You're actually going to work overtime. How you like that? Right? That's how it is in the working environment. Right? That is not healthy to do forever. Right? We live in a world that needs more entrepreneurs. People who start new businesses so that they can create jobs for other people, but not to exploit them. You understand? Right? You need your staff to tell you that you are the best boss in the world. Not because they want to, get you to get them something. That's because you're getting them something. That's why they call you the best boss. Right? You put food on the table, in such a way that they don't have to stress about their bills and their kids getting sick and so-and-so is about to die, we need to go bury this person, there's no money. The company can help you. The company help me. Sometimes you get the most craziest stares from your employees because you do things differently than any other boss. And that's the kind of people you need to be. We're going to teach you how to make money, number one, how to spend it, number one, how to keep it, number one. Right? You need to keep making money in such a way that it inspires people to want to have money. Not just say, dude, yeah, I know my boss just bought a brand new Ferrari. That douchebag. Huh? When you buy a Ferrari, it must be like, he bought a Ferrari and then he also bought me a Polo GTI. I do that every month. I buy people cars. Not because they owe it, no. Yeah, it's yours forever, goodbye, finish that thing. You know, I went to one of my mentors the other day and I said, hey man, you should get a new car. He says, okay, let me go check on the list. I said, I'll help you buy a car. He says, I found a nice BMW. I'm like, okay, yes, BMW, yes. Okay, what's the mileage? 100,000 on the truck. I'm like, huh? How much is it? 250,000. I'm like, ooh, this guy. You're gonna buy a car for R250,000, right? And you're gonna spend R250,000 on 100,000 rand mileage. You're buying somebody or 3 other people's problems. You're just taking turns, inheriting people's problems. That car will become more of a problem than a solution. Because every day is going to have to go to the workshop. I said, buy brand spanking new. 0 on the clock. Be the first to drive that car. Because why? It will come with a service plan. For the next 5 years, you won't have to service jack. You might have to pay excess. Let's say your windscreen chips off because it's stolen in the truck and it hits whatever. Yeah, that's fine. $500 is better than paying 5,000 that you didn't even know was coming. You know when someone's got like, you're walking in the door, like, I like how sometimes you must do this. I'm kidding, as a prank. When it's someone's birthday, stop man this. Someone will walk in the door and you must have someone with a cream pie waiting for you. Bah! In the face. That's how it is when your car breaks down and you didn't expect it. It sucks. Right? Obviously the cream pie you can wash it away, but the bill for the car ain't going to go nowhere. Because tomorrow you gotta go to work. You gotta take the kids to school, you gotta take the wife to work, gotta go to the gym. Life stops when you don't have a car. And then you use taxis. And you're a businessman. I used to use taxis. When I was a college student, I used to basically catch 36 taxis a week. Guys, just because you say you've been a millionaire for 10 years doesn't mean that you were a millionaire every single day. The money that I made from Branson, I actually lost about 80% of it. Because I met the wrong people. People who thought, I can trust this person. They come into me for good intentions. They want me to succeed. Then you realize, hey, wake up, Baba. Guys will rob you daylight. You become successful by whenever you fall down, you pick yourself up. And then you walk away, you don't become bitter and say, you took my money. A lot of people who took my money, I just let them go. God bless you, man. But God will deal with those people, right? I don't have to. I don't want to be a bad person. I'll forgive you, right? But then what I take from that is the experience of saying, I learned something. Next time, I'm not going to make that mistake again. Right? So, the aim of the game is, some of you are going to make money from Undercover Millionaires and you're going to lose it all. But we're here to help you pick yourself up. It's just a fact, You're not going to all make the right decision all the time. No way. The aim of the game is to say if you have a support group, just like if you're an alcoholic and you have an AA meeting. Hi, my name is Louis. You guys will say, hey Louis.
Hi, Louis.
And I'll say, hi, I'm an alcoholic. So that's the aim of the game. We are saying, hi, I'm Louis. You say, hi Louis, I'm a millionaire. I want to be in a room where I say, gosh, I'm sick and tired of being a millionaire. So the aim of the game is to say, guys, we created this currency, Undercover Millionaires currency, or UMC, right? And UMC basically is a cryptocurrency. Mac, can you please come help me with the charger? I need to charge the laptop, or Senzi or Nero come through. So, I just want to open this. It's open, okay. So my coin, UMC, from 1st of April 2016 was created, right? Till this day, it's still running. And we've been able to sell more than 50 million coins at 1 rand for 1 coin. Because our objective was to create 1,000 South African millionaires, right? How do you create someone a millionaire when you're selling 1 coin for 1 rand? It's because you need, in order for you to be listed on the JSE, you need to have a market cap of, let's say, $1 billion. Meaning there needs to be money that flows that is worth X amount in your company. In other words, you're not going to just fall apart tomorrow. Your company's not going to just stop working. Do you know that if your company is listed on the JSE and your company gets liquidated, you as the company owner can actually go to jail? That's how serious it is. Dealing with people's money is serious. It is like you signing your life away. If your company goes down, people can actually sue you. So, when you're dealing with money and dealing with other people's money, it's a very sensitive issue. You need to know what you're doing. Right? Yeah. So, thank you. So, the aim of the game is saying, we've got a UMC, right? But, we sell 50 million coins, right? One UMC is R1. But as of October 2016, one UMC becomes $1. Right? So one UMC becomes $1, and then basically you'll be able to go in. So whenever you log in, it will show you the current trading price of one UMC. It's not going to stay $1 forever. As of say October 1st, every single day the price will go up and down in real time. Every single second of every single day forever, the price of a UMC will fluctuate based on supply and demand, based on the price of the dollar, based on how many people are selling coins, how many people are buying coins, that kind of a thing, right? I'm just trying to see if this thing can actually open. So if you look here, the price goes up, down, 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 up, down, and stay the same, and then obviously it's going to keep moving up and down. Does that make sense? But unfortunately, if you didn't buy coins before this, you missed out on something very nice. Because the people who bought coins in the last 5 months, every single month at the end of the month, their coins grew by 50%. So if you put in 10,000 Rand, right, or let's say even 100,000 Rand, and at the end of the month, your balance would say, I have 150,000 coins. And guess what? At the end of the next month, if you didn't withdraw anything, that money would compound. So instead of having double now, you have double plus a little more. Because the technology in which Bitcoin or the currencies, cryptocurrencies work is that there's something called a blockchain reward, right? So a blockchain reward would mean if you bought coins, you would be able to do what? You'd be able to assist the network in making transactions happen. Remember, Bitcoin is like this, right? This. And this little thing over here, if you have a bank, right? The bank hires their own employees. The bank hires what? Their own machines, technical people, build their own offices, pays salaries, whatever, and then does what? Whenever you pull out money from the ATM, which also they pay for, they charge you a certain transaction fee. Right? Whenever you do internet banking and you send money from one person to another person, they charge you. Right? But now, the problem with this network is that it's expensive. Can you imagine, right? In my check account, one of my check accounts, I pay sometimes up to 15,000 Rand a month in bank charge. That is crazy. And the worst part is, I'm a very, fast-paced business person, which means if I need to book accommodation for a hotel, I don't want to have to wait 72 hours before the money reflects in their bank account, right? If they use Capitec and I use FNB and I send money into their account, does it go same time? Especially if it's 60,000 Rand, right? It doesn't go same time. There are several middlemen in the equation. Visa, MasterCard, American Express, all these other guys, BankServe, the guys who run the ATMs, the little guys in between, the credit card processor, the merchant account, that need to eat from that transaction. And the money takes actually up to 7 days for it to go from bank to bank. When you see it reflecting in your bank statement, it's actually the bank loaning you money. They're still waiting for the money to come. Right? So is that the next level of innovation? Waiting 72 hours to get money? I don't think so. Bitcoin from one account to one account, 10 seconds. Right? And it is more secure than the current internet banking system. If you add the whole same traditional, some to say that, hey, the banks suck, man, we hate the banks. No, we need the banks. Because you can't innovate by just dumping the past. You need to innovate by embracing the past and the future and bringing them together to create the present. So you say, we're going to say what? You can add the FICA system, right, to verify, because currently what made people very shy of Bitcoin is like, they say it's anonymous transactions, which means you can send money from one person to another person and nobody will know you did it. That makes a lot of drug dealers very happy. You can't trace a transaction of 500 million rand, huh? From one person to another person. That's dangerous, right? What is also important about Bitcoin is that there is something called a public ledger, meaning for the first time ever, right? You don't go on Absa banking website, absa.co.za, and see every single transaction on their website happening in real time. Do you see that? No. But on Bitcoin, you can actually see in real time around the world every single transaction happening, and that public ledger is kept on record by everyone who helps to run the network. Let me show you basically what I'm talking about. Other? Is it other? Yes. No. It's called a blockchain, right? And a blockchain with a public ledger, there's a chain, right? So basically, as money moves around, check it there, right? As money moves from one account to another account, right? It's recorded under a transaction ID, which then has two recipients, the person sending the money and the person receiving the money, right? And what happens is that if so-and-so is under investigation by the hawks, right, and they want to know that they're using UMC as a platform to smuggle drugs or pay for human trafficking or whatever, right, they can say, on such and such a day, we know that this person moved this amount of money on your platform. Can you basically check for us? Oh yeah, we've got his ID and proof of address, we know the person. Okay, fine. And on this day, yes, they did move $5,250 from this account to another account. And the other account belongs to such and such a person. That is a transparent financial network. And it's called the blockchain. That's one of the things that makes Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies very appealing to people, because it's transparent. No one can just decide to do illegal activity and not get caught. There is a paper trail forever. And everyone who helps mine the coin, meaning everyone who uses the coin itself, right, has the opportunity to track and see how much money is moving in between. It's not going to say, oh, Louis sent money to Sarah. No. It's going to basically show you a record, and then when you, as let's say an authority like the police, want to know who exactly is this person, you give us a warrant from the judge, and the judge says, yes, you can give them this private information that is confidential. That's how it happens even now in the traditional financial system. So you've got something called the UMC chain, which is a track record of all transactions happening, right? And then, let's say, for instance, I just want to see if I can see this now. Okay, it's not there. But you'll be able to see here, right? There's two things you can either do when you buy UMC. It's either you buy it yourself, simple. It's a platform. We created a hybrid cryptocurrency, meaning, that is a term I coined myself. Meaning, in typical Bitcoin, right, all it does is says there's recipient A, right, and recipient B, right, or user A and user B. And user A wants to send X amount of coins from B's account to user B's account. That's all it does. Right? But in order for you to sell those coins, you got to go find someone who wants Bitcoins, or find someone who has Bitcoins and ask them to sell them to you. Then you have to buy something called a wallet software like this, or get a software, download it on your phone or your computer, and then say, hey man, send me your unique address, right? Like a username or like a long address or a QR code, and let me scan it and pay for a coffee or whatever. But that is not like the next level. You might think Bitcoin is very popular and it's valuable, it's 8,200 Rand, but it's only cutting the surface of where it could be. Right? You haven't gotten a lot of cryptocurrencies that have a person who's literally got a big company that can actually market it and promote it and innovate on top of that technology. So that's what we have done. We've created a platform that you can connect, right? Not only direct to direct, so you might say, okay, fine, I might find you on the street one day and say, hey, there's something called UMC, I'm going to sell you UMCs, buy them, it's going to grow in value. Yes, okay, I'll buy them from you, here's the cash, give me the UMC into my account. Fine. But what we do have as well is a market, like a Forex market platform. In other words, it's a pairing system, right? It's a peer-to-peer network, right? That's what makes it cheaper, better, faster to use Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. Meaning that you don't have to have 27 or 7 different little man company that want to take a slice and it only takes 72 hours for the transaction to happen. You have me and you, that's it. And if I send money, it goes 10 seconds, boom, from my account to your account. No transaction fees that are going to kill you, right? It's like an investment. Just like if I go to, I own a lot of Facebook shares, right? So like I bought $1 million in like Facebook stock, and I use a platform called eToro, right? And eToro basically is like what we're doing, but for shares in a company. So you can buy shares in Coca-Cola, Facebook, Google, Apple, Tesla. I just want to show you what it looks like. I hope this works. Oh, it does. So as you can see there is a currency called Apple. People don't think, they didn't teach you that in school. They didn't know it's a company stock. Forget about it. Only rich people invest in stocks. You must work for a boss. You know nothing about investing. But unfortunately, they've been making you work for the money while they were making the money work for them. They simply do one simple thing. No complicated mathematics. That's all this thing is all about. You buy something at a low price and you sell it at a high price. Isn't that the foundation of business? You buy low, you sell high. The middle is the profit. Right? So, as you can see, you see all these numbers, they're jumping around, they're changing. That's because people are buying and selling around the world the shares in those companies. Based on supply and demand, the price goes up and down. So all we have is a unit of currency that is also not affected by political parties. So if Mr. Jacob Zuma and Mr. Julius Malema decide, no, they're not going to pay back the money from Ghana and decide to box each other in Parliament, what happens to the rand? Game over, crash. The investors now say, okay, we are retrenching 50,000 miners in Anglo-America. We're taking our money out of it. Barclays says, no, we're selling our 51% stake in Absa Bank Group. Cheers, bye-bye. They take out 20 billion pounds out of the country. What has happened to you who was working for Absa for 25 years thinking that, you know what, I'm going to get a nice package when I retire next year? No, sir. You have been retrenched. Good luck. And also, there won't be any package for you. Remember, you know we said we'll promise you a package, but unfortunately, there won't be a package this time. Huh? But I've got bills to pay, I've got kids to feed, I've got, cost to service, I've got education to fund. They don't care. In life, you get what you put in. Make sure that you own every single step of the food chain when you run a business. Don't depend on a certain supplier. That when that supplier dies or his business goes bankrupt, now you're going to go bankrupt. Own every single step of the process. That's what makes you stable, strong, powerful. That's what we do as Undercover Millionaires. Right? We don't go around promoting other people's business, we promote our own. And we create money within our own network by giving you money. And the very same people who run those 500 businesses are you. If you're willing. Where there's a will, there's a way. That's what I believe in. That's what got me this far. So, if you've got a currency, like, look at this, 96% people are buying. You know what I mean? That's some serious buying power. So what happens? The price goes up most of the time. So that's why you'll see over like, let me put it this way. This is why I bought one simple thing. Like this is why I bought shares in Facebook, right? And I'm gonna keep buying. Look at that. Since 2014. Is that going down or up? Huh? Is it going down or up? How do you read a graph, guys? You start from the left, right? So is it going up or down? Up, right? So Facebook went public in 2014, right? And then 2 years later, the price, I've got a trade currently running here. So you've got a price that's going up and down, 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 up and down. And if you can see what the price was here, can you give me that information? Is it actually showing you?
No, it was $20.
It was $20.
$20.
So $20 today is how much? 129. So which means if I bought Facebook stock in 2014, just 2 years ago, right, for $20, right, I would have gotten $100 with every share that I bought as profit. So my logic is that, this trend ain't stopping. Facebook just announced last month that they had a 180% increase in profit for the quarter. I don't. Not for the year, the quarter. They still got to go through the rest of the year. So they've got 2 billion people. They own WhatsApp, they own Instagram. They haven't started monetizing WhatsApp yet. They only just started monetizing Instagram. Are they more likely to lose money or make money? Make money. So what you do, you're an intelligent investor. A wise man once said, an intelligent person, right, is a person who understands this. A person who planted a tree a long time ago, right, enjoys the shade of a tree today because of that person, right? So a person who sits under the shade of a tree today enjoys the shade of that tree because a wise man one day planted a seed. That's investing 101. That's what Warren Buffett teaches. He says, if you want to become successful, plant the seed somewhere. Wait, you don't just plant the seed anywhere. Can I plant the seed here and it will grow? There's no soil, it's not fertile. I gotta go find the right climate, right soil, everything, plant the seed, and kaboom, it grows. Then what? You get fruit, you get shade, someone can enjoy that fruit. But you need to start today so that you can enjoy it tomorrow. So that's the key about what we do. We provide people with various financial tools that we call the Millionaires Toolbox. And those things throughout the seminars that we do. No seminar that we do is ever the same. We always provide someone with something different. And we always encourage people to grow the relationship they have with us. And you learn a lot. Some people started with me with nothing. And now are millionaires. Because all they had to do was believe that they were worth being a millionaire. Most people don't think that they like the sound of being a millionaire, but maybe you get a bit intimidated. Oh no, maybe if I'm a millionaire, I'm gonna die. They say being poor is painful, being successful is painful. Choose your pain. Which one do you prefer? I'd rather go through like having backaches and my voice is going away because I've done seminars like for 3 weeks in a row. I'd rather have that, knowing that I'm going to a 50 million man mansion. Right? Yay or nay? Yay. Or would you rather go home every single day, they tell you when you take lunch, when you take leave, hey, you've been in the toilet for too long, come back to the stand and sell cookies or sell wings. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with a humble job. My first job was installing DSTV satellites with my uncle. But I enjoyed it. I said, God is putting me here for a reason. I'm going to learn whatever I need to learn. But this is important. Why? Because God does every single thing for a reason. That thing will help me 10 years from now. Today I run a technology company. So, guys, that's what it's all about. When it comes to Undercover Millionaires, right? I am going in October to London, then I go to Dubai, then I go to New York. But what is the difference? The fact is that we no longer selling the coins 1 rand for 1 coin. It's $1 for 1 coin, remember? So now, the price of a UMC, let's say this is UMC, right? And a person had 844 rand worth of UMC. Now, I'm showing you the future now, guys. This is what will happen when you log into your dashboard, not the one that you currently see. The one that you see doesn't show this. This is the new one. I only have access to this one. And you will have it in 9 days. And capiche comprende, here we go. Your 844 UMC now will be worth 11,858. But where does the money come from? It doesn't exist. It's a scam. He's gonna run away with our money. Oh. In life, you don't enjoy what other people don't have without taking the risk that other people didn't take. We've got a problem in South Africa called research deficiency syndrome. It's not an addiction, you don't check it, I created it myself. It's through experience that I define that. People don't do research. Before you take your hard-earned money and put it somewhere, do your research. And do it to the extent where you're like, man, I'm satisfied now. I even know where this guy lives. Because I was raised, my father said, listen here, I wear 10,000 rand shoes. Right? Now, I've got shoes that are worth more than 10,000. A pair, not my collection. 1 pair. I'm not trying to brag, I'm trying to show you something. But my father told me once, he said, rather walk with no shoes than owe another man money. That man is the chairman of our company. He's not the owner of the company. I'm the owner of the company. But I understood one thing when I was young, that you need to take counsel from all the people who've got more experience. My father's been to over 100 countries. He was manager of Bafana Bafana. He started Kaiser Chiefs with Cousin down in a garage. Today, where's Kaiser Chiefs? It's $1 billion brand. He was manager marketing director for 35 years. He is currently president of SAFA in Johannesburg. So, you're not dealing with Popeye and spinach. I've already told you why. Plus, I've got a board of directors. You can go on Undercover Millionaires website. Obviously, our site is down at the moment because we're changing to version 3. We're preparing for version 3. We want to make it new. We're going into international now. We want to show people a new look and feel and be more, take it more seriously. So, the fact of the matter is, guys, you have 9 days to change your life. I am only ever going to say this for the last time in Durban. This is the last seminar I do before I create millionaires. After that, whenever you buy a UMC, as of October 1st, you need to buy a UMC for the dollar rate. It's no longer going to be 1 rand for 1 UMC. Where does the money come from? Remember, when I go overseas, I'm on tour, right? Currently I'm on tour in South Africa. I'm selling to you in rands. But now we've reached a level where we've sold enough coins in South Africa. But now what happens? People overseas are saying, we want this too. And you say, okay, no, but I know I put in 844 rand for 844 UMC. And then now it's worth 11,000 rand. When does 11,000 rand? When I go overseas and sell those coins to that guy, I'm selling it to him at this price. Which means when you want to sell your coins, the system will pay you with a person in America, Dubai, London, China, anywhere in the world. that wants to send you money because they want the same growth that you had. How long has the JSE been around? How long has the NASDAQ, FTSE, Nikkei? All of these things have been there. They haven't taught us this stuff, guys. They've been doing it every day. You can watch the news, any news channel, CNN, BBC is in the hour. They will show you the financial markets, how they're performing. Because that's how the mega wealthy play. The money works for them. You going to work, working in your kiosk, you're working for that guy. While he's on a yacht somewhere in Monaco. Change your mindset. Start finding ways for money to work for you. You mustn't work for money. Because the harder you work, while your money is working for you. You know, sometimes I show my people my phone and I say, listen here, man, I feel like blessing you. Here's 15,000 rand. It's yours. Boom, boom, it's yours. But I understand the concept of giving so much so that literally seconds later, 100,000 rand will fall into my account. 250,000 rand will fall into my account. I'll go every morning, ATM, pull out 8,000 rand. That's the maximum I can pull out. Right? 8,000 rand I can pull out one card. Boom. Put it in my pocket. End of the day, the 8,000 rand is gone. What have I done with the 8,000 rand? All these guys were on the robots. 200 rand, 200 rand, 200 rand, 200 rand. I go pour petrol. I'll pour petrol for 250 rand and I'll leave 1,000 rand tip. That's why I always get the best treatment at the petrol station. Someone will be pouring petrol for you, literally leave the gas tank standing there and run to my car. Because I understand the concept of giving. That's why my car will be taken care of the most. It's like I'm going through a 10-second car wash. Because I've got 7 guys on one car. One is doing the windscreen, one is checking the engine, the oil, the tires, the pressure, the one is pouring gas, the one is just giving me a nice lift. No, you inspire us, man. What can we do to become successful? And then you learn from them. That's my life story. I just did a show now called Rich Kids on Vuzu. Apparently it's the best episode ever recorded. Why? Because they said most of the kids out there, they come from daddy's money, mommy's money, granddaddy's money, and then they just spoiled. But I come from a background where I'm self-made. Right? No one gave me my money. I worked for it. Right? Every single thing I have in my life, I earned it myself. My parents come from a middle-class family. I went to a middle-class school. I had middle-class friends. But then I realized if I start being careful on the decisions that I make in life and the choices that I make, that I can actually get forward and ahead in life to an extent where I can make other people successful. That's to me what is a blessing. Not the fact that I can become successful alone, but the fact that when I become wealthy, I can share it with other people. You don't know how much of a difference, you give a guy, he does a car wash, your entire car, he washes it for 50 rand. And you give him a 200 rand note. You don't know how much of a difference that makes to people. True. That's why I say I am the church. Right? I don't expect to go to someone and give someone my money and say, hey man, you go and get the blessings. You go and feed the orphans. No, I must feed the orphans. I must walk into Macro, buy the food, buy the toiletries, buy this, buy toys, buy this, and literally walk into the orphanage and shake the mother's hand who's running the orphanage and love her and kiss her and show her love and give her, wash her feet, that kind of a thing. Because Jesus said one day, if somebody wants to be your master, they must first wash your feet. To me, that takes my soul to the core. That's the kind of stuff when you look at me, I'm zoning out, I'm thinking about that. I'm like, whoa. Did you hear what that man just said? If somebody wants you to be their master, they must wash your feet first. So it means that to be a millionaire is to be a servant of the community. Yeah. That's what Undercover Millionaires is all about. You put God in the idea, in the plan of everything, and then you are just a vessel that God is allowing to be responsible with wealth. You don't abuse it, you don't misuse it. You take care of God's people. Finish and clap. You start with your family, then you help other people. Then eventually, if I have a glass of water now, and I pour water into this glass, and it starts to overflow, where does the water go after it gets to the top? Right? It goes all the way out of the glass. That's what it is with money. If you make so much money that, you know what, I can only eat, my father told me that you can only eat on one plate a day. You know, sleep under one roof, sleep on one bed, you know what I mean, drive one car. After that, start giving people the rest. You don't have to live an extraordinary life and then you're the only one who's living the extraordinary life. But everybody in your circle is struggling. That's not fair. You must have the power to say one word to somebody and their life is forever changed and they become a millionaire because of you. Not because they actually, you know what, decided, okay, you know what, I want to become a millionaire because I like to see you on Facebook. No. Because you literally did something physical. You sacrificed what you could have given to your own kids and you gave it to me, and I don't even know your name. But I understand the concept that you are a human being, I am a human being. I cannot be immune to anything that you are feeling that is hurting you. You understand? So if you feel pain, I should feel pain. That's what a servant does. You put yourself in somebody else's shoes and say, if I was sitting there, I'm probably thinking, shucks, it's getting late. I just come back from work. I did 8 hours. You know, when is this guy going to finish? You know, like, I still got to feed the kids, tuck them in bed, and do the homework, you know, cook for them, they do this, wake up in the morning at 5 o'clock, go to a grumpy boss. People have problems, guys. And unless you're compassionate, and you have a servant's heart, and you are a giver, you will never really connect with people. People in life respect people who put food on the table. Unless you can't put food on the table, no one's going to respect you. Because life is about giving. The more you give, the more you're going to receive. That stuff works. I'm a living testament of that. So that is how we're able to create, you know, over 1,000 millionaires. Look at this person. This person's buying has what? 15,856 coins. Those coins will now be worth 222,000. Huh? In the next 7 days. I'm not saying now, and this is just in the next 6 days. In other words, we're crossing over $2, and then now it starts trading in dollars. It's not stopping there, it's going to continue going. Remember now, the 50% that we used to give people every single month as a reward, it stops now. Otherwise, you are characterized as a Ponzi scheme by the government. You cannot continuously promise people 50% every single day. Or 1.66% growth every day, in 30 days it's 50%. Right? You need to be transparent. You need to be the same people who follow the same protocol that the previous guy who did it successfully did it. So we're following the same cryptocurrency model and framework that Bitcoin did, right? But we're trying to obviously become a far better, more humanized cryptocurrency. Most people don't even know the guy who created Bitcoin, right? The guy actually, he was using another name. They found that it was an Australian guy instead of a Japanese guy. Can you imagine now we have a brand that has a face, that has people who believe in doing something in a godly way? That can have a bigger impact. And whether you like it or not, I'm not going to stop. Once I get on the jet, I'm going to keep going until I sell 1 billion coins. Let me give you, this is where I'm coming from. Give you an example, right? So, you've got, we're almost done. We're almost done. What is it? Just want to get, okay, there you go. So this is what I'm going to do, right? When I go overseas, this is my secret, right? When I go overseas, remember the dollar price? It's going to change. So UMC 1 rand becomes 1 UMC becomes. But I'm going to do something very smart. I'm going to auction the coins overseas, not at $1. I'm going to auction them off at a predicted future price. So we basically, based on our calculations, are saying that the coin will be 166 rand, well, each coin, 166 rand, by April next year for one coin. Meaning that if you buy a coin now, you're looking at 166 times return on investment on that coin. In how many months? 6 months. Now, meaning, this is what I'm doing. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you, this is what I'm going to do. Many people are told I'm going to start a seminar, and in a seminar I make 1.5 million in less than 5 minutes. I did that many times. People are like, oh, no, I have to see this. We fill it up. It'll get so full that we need to do 2 sessions. There'll be people full, they come in, those ones have to go out, the other ones have to come in. They have to sit there, but the more they come in, the more money we make. Right? That's why people don't come in. They sold on the idea. Now they're just trading. You know what I mean? So, look at that. That's all money. That's just money. And you got pages and pages and pages of it. Right? So, I'm selling 2 million coins. That's my idea. And I'm not coming back until I do this and I finish it off. So I'm selling 2 million coins, right? In London, right? At next year's future predicted price of April, which is 166 for one. So I sell 2 million coins, right? It'll be about £8. You bought 1 rand for one coin, right? Was that a lot? Wasn't that much? You know, you didn't really feel it. So to you, 166 rand is a lot. If I had to start telling you now you have to buy and sell coins at 166 rand, for you to buy 1,000 coins is going to be a lot of money, right? But to a British guy, it's only £8. So now 1 UMC is £8, but £8 to you is 166 rand. So I say, okay, I'm selling 2 million coins, guys. One coin is £8, right? So £8 is 166 rand, so you times that by 166 rand. How much is that? 332 million rands. 16 million pounds is 332 million rand. Then what do? Catch the jet again, go to New York. After New York, sell 2 million coins, go to Dubai. Are people very poor in Dubai? Are they poorer than us? Okay, their currency is stronger than ours. Right? So is the dollar. Right? The dollar will be about $16 for one coin. You know, the dirham will be also around there. So what happens is that I go to 3 places, and I don't come back to South Africa. I just keep going to those 3 places until I sell all 6 million coins. And I sell those 6 million coins, I come back with how much? 996 million rand. Plus the 50 million coins we've sold in the last 5 months in South Africa. That's 5 million, 50 million. 1 billion, 50 million. Now you say, yeah, where does the money come from? Where does the money come from? I have the ability to sell you anything because I really live this life. You understand what I mean? I'm not selling you something that I don't live. I preach what I live. I do this. Every single person who said, you know, there's people who put money in this thing before we even had a wallet. There was not even a system. And they said, it's just as broke. If I take 100,000 rand and I put it in on mutual or a money market account, you know what interest they give me? 5% per annum. Huh? Or 9% per annum. When the price of petrol goes up every single day, the price of food goes up every day, the price of school fees, the price of this, that, clothes, the price of cigarettes, price of alcohol. How are we ever going to catch up? I would rather take my last and take it into something where it could work or couldn't work. But, that's not what intelligent investors do. Intelligent investors say, okay, you know what, I've got this amount of money, maybe let's say this is, 1,000 Rand, 2,000 Rand, and then I'll take, 400 Rand, and I'll buy UMCs with that money. Let's see what happens. This is money that I'm willing to lose. But based on the person that I am, I'm not the type of person to sell someone a product, right? And not fulfill my promise. Like I said, don't listen to what I say, watch what I do. Every single thing that I've ever said about UMC has come to pass. Right? Very accurately so. So when I say to you, I'm going to sell R1 billion worth of coins, you want a slice of that. Let's divide that by 1,000. Remember I said I wanted to create 1,000 millionaires? Right. 1,046,000. So I can actually create 1,000 millionaires. Yeah. If I sell R1 billion coins, you can't divide R1 billion by 1,000. That's 1,000 people who have $1 million. So that is where the money comes from, ladies and gentlemen. It comes from the foreign market. The same way now. Has anybody ever heard of the Mall of Africa? Right? It's near Midrand in Johannesburg. But it's not the Mall of Africa. It's the Mall of Europe, America, and overseas people. Because there's no African shopping there. There's no person I know that owns a store that is a proper South African store. So why are you calling it the Mall of Africa? Who's actually benefiting for it? The only African people who are part of that project are the people who laid the bricks and the cement. But the people who are eating the money from that thing and benefiting from it are Hamleys, the guys who sell a teddy bear for 700 Rand. And you will buy it, and Hamleys is a British company. It is a British toy store. So what they do is that they take their products and export them to other countries. And we buy them. But the problem is we're not creating our own businesses, our own products, and exporting to them. That's the only thing about success. So you're going to call that a scam. The fact that I can take a coin and sell it to another country. There's something wrong with you. Definitely. Because if we say we can create 1,000 millionaires, as long as I can go to the people who have the money to buy the coins, they will buy it. Because do you think this is logical, this investment? Is it a logical thing? Does it make sense to you? It does. So are you guys in South Africa programmed differently or less intelligent than people in America? No. They just live in a more well-off country. They just have more resources than us. They just live in a more sophisticated society than us. You know what I mean? But the fact of the matter is, we have the same level of potential. It is infinite. So you can't say an American is better than a South African. No. We are all the same. God created us all. Just because you were born in another country, you're better than someone else. No way, Jose. So that is why I decided to create 1,000 South African millionaires. Because I wanted to show you it doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter your background, doesn't matter your country. If someone in your country believes in you before you even knew them, I was praying for you guys before you even ever knew me. I was praying and saying, one day I'll meet people who understand that I can actually give them an opportunity to become successful. And I will find people, I'm still praying now, who are still waiting to buy your coins. Life is what you make it. As long as your ideas are inspired by God, ladies and gentlemen, the sky is the limit. Your attitude determines your altitude. Right? Know your worth. If you wake up in the morning and you say, I want to become a millionaire, I am a millionaire, you say it to yourself loudly, proudly, you can even say it in your own head. But as long as you can declare that, it costs you nothing to think like a millionaire. 0 cents, nothing. I'm not selling you. You can walk out here. I'm not asking you to buy these coins. I'm just saying, here's an opportunity. You can be a part of it or not. I won't be offended. Right? But the fact of the matter is, it costs you nothing. You will walk out here a different person because of you taking the sacrifice of being somewhere else, watching a movie, going on a dinner date, doing something else. You said, I want to empower myself. That is a divine appointment, ladies and gentlemen. When preparation, you were prepared, meets opportunity, I provide you with opportunity, there's an explosion of glory. Now, do you believe in that, or are you not going to believe in that? That is the question. And what proves that you believe in it is by doing something about it. Because actions speak louder than words. Right? So, that is why I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, this is the beginning of a very, 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 very long journey in the history of Undercover Millionaires. And we just hope and pray that one day, you know what I mean, our kids can play together without the stress of reporting to a grumpy boss, or the stress of not knowing where their next meal is going to come from. Because we want a situation whereby even if you're in our network and you're down and out, we should say, hey man, let's take 100 Rand each just to help somebody. This person who was a billionaire, and we want to put him back because you make mistakes in life. You know what I mean? So we create a network of power. So we run a network that facilitates people who aspire to become millionaires with existing millionaires. We bring them together. And out of that, the things that you hear that happen, as a result of this, we're able to take kids to school. We're able to feed hundreds of kids every single month. We run various feeding schemes in schools. We don't go around boasting about that. That's what we do in the corner because we are undercover. God is not a fool, ladies and gentlemen. If you do good to somebody, God will do good to you. That's common. That's how the world works. It's a cycle. Mother Nature works the same way. And unless you're in a cycle of money where money is rotating, if you don't have money now, right, and you want money, what do? You go to where there is money. You don't go to where there is no money. So be careful on the people that you surround yourself with. And it doesn't mean if someone has money, they have a quality personality or they have substance. Right? So you need to be able to discern between different things. But ladies and gentlemen, that's me. I thank you for your time. And I wish that you guys basically be a part of the family because it's a wonderful opportunity.